Towards the end of last year, Huawei introduced the Watch GT3 as a premium stainless steel watch with a focus on fitness and health tracking. For 2022, there's an even more premium model out, and it's called the Huawei Watch GT3 Pro. I'm Cam Bunton from Pocket-lint, and I've been using it for the past month or so, and this is my review. And while you're here, if you do like this video, please do leave a thumbs up, it helps us a lot. Tap subscribe and the notification bell to make sure you don't miss any more of our uploads. So there are two different models of the Watch GT3 Pro, and the larger of the two is this titanium model. It's similar in size to previous Pro models, which means that with its 47mm case, it's quite a large watch. Being titanium means it's not that shiny polished mirror finish you'll see on the stainless steel non-Pro model, and the case design is a bit more substantial too. Its angled, chiseled look is very attractive, minimal and timeless. The completely flat round display is covered with sapphire glass, which typically results in a more scratch resistant and durable watch. And the underside is finished with ceramic, with the domed optical center rising out of the middle. As for the strap, there's support for 22mm quick release straps and bands of all types. We've been using the Elite Edition, which comes with this titanium link band, and as link bands go, it's very nice. Although it does suffer with the usual problems you get with this type of bracelet. Firstly, if you have arm hair, they will get caught in the gaps and pulled, especially when putting the watch on. Secondly, metal doesn't stretch, so getting a good fit isn't as easy as it would be with a leather or silicone band. It'll inevitably be too loose or too tight when you first put it on, and that means removing or adding links into the band. The good thing about Huawei's approach to adjustment though is that you don't need any special tools to make the strap longer or shorter. The removable links have a quick release system so that all you need is your fingernails. It's still a little bit fiddly to do, but it's as easy as it gets for this kind of band. Now, my only issue in testing was that even here I struggled to get a fit that I was 100% happy with all the time. I ended up switching between the leather and the fluoroelastomer straps for a better, more secure and comfortable fit. On the whole, it's a really good looking watch, and despite its size, doesn't feel obtrusive or dominating on the wrist, thanks to its sleek profile. Having IP68 water and dust resistance and waterproofing up to 5 atmospheres or 50 meters means you can take it swimming too. Now, the second version of the GT3 Pro is a very different proposition from what Huawei would usually release. It's a ceramic model, and it is, as the name suggests, made from ceramic. It's a round watch, but the shaping, particularly the gold or silver scalloped bevel around the edge of the watch and the metallic accents around the crown and the button, ensure that it has a very real sense of individuality in the Huawei Watch product lineup. The watch is smaller than the titanium model, featuring a 43mm case, and is designed to fit on smaller wrists. And while the case itself is technically lighter than the titanium model, it's definitely heavier once you take the ceramic strap into consideration as well. It's quite weighty, and some people might like that, others won't, which is why Huawei also released a version that comes with a leather strap. Now onto the buttons, the interface and the controls now. And as with Huawei's previous efforts, the watch features a basic 2-button control system. One of those is the rotating crown and the other is a standard clicky button. Press the crown and you'll launch the app grid view, or press it within an app or a widget and it'll take you home to your watch face. In any view where a list scrolls up and down, you can rotate the crown to navigate. Likewise, it can be used to zoom in and out of the app grid, and when you do rotate it, there's a subtle clicky feedback from the haptic motor inside the watch. It's a nice touch and reassures you that along with the screen animation that there is something happening. Otherwise, the interface is very much geared towards touchscreen control. For instance, once you press a shortcut key to dive straight into a workout, you'll need to tap the option on the touchscreen. And if you ever want to actually select something from a list or an app grid, you still need to tap it on the display. There's no button to select it. Now, since we're there, let's talk about the display and the software. And just like previous versions, both models have round, bright, sharp AMOLED displays. The resolution is 466 by 466 on both, but the smaller model of course has a smaller display. It's 1.32 inches versus the larger 1.43. There are new dynamic watch faces, so you'll find some watch faces perfectly suited to the white ceramic model and others for the darker grey titanium, and they adapt and change when it gets dark. In fact, its ecosystem of watch faces is one of Huawei Watch's biggest strengths, if only because there's so much choice. The Huawei theme gallery has thousands of first and third-party options to choose from, with a plethora of both free and paid-for premium options. Huawei itself launched a new range of Sense watch faces which have a lot more detail than previous or other faces, and with it the company is attempting to create a very realistic or classic watch look. Now, an issue we found with having so many watch faces available is that the choice can be a little bit overwhelming at times. What's more, once you install them, you better be happy with them, because unlike other platforms, there's not much you can do in the way of customization, at least in terms of color combinations and accents. You can change some of the data that appears on the screen, but that's pretty much it for most of them. Otherwise, it's much the same software that was on the Huawei Watch GT3. It's Harmony OS, features the ability to download apps from the app gallery, has petal maps for navigation on your wrist as long as you have the companion app installed on your Android or Huawei phone. Plus, in general, it's compatible with iPhone, Android, and of course, Huawei's smartphones. With iPhone, it's a little more limited, but you get most of the important fitness and health tracking elements, which brings us nicely onto health tracking and performance. Now, battery life has been one of Huawei's key strengths when it comes to its smartwatch platform, and the GT3 Pro series continues that trend. With the larger model, you'll get up to 2 weeks on a full charge, or up to 7 days on the ceramic model. Now, generally speaking, these figures are almost always achievable, at least when you have the always-on display switched off, and if you don't do a lot of GPS tracking. With our own use, using it to track 2 or 3 activities a week and wearing it every night for sleep tracking, we saw somewhere between 11 and 13 days on a full charge with the larger model. The smaller ceramic version would normally be about 5 or 6 days on a full charge without wearing it at nighttime. From a health tracking standpoint, the watch features the same TrueScene 5.0 Plus sensor platform that we saw in the GT3, and that means you get extra diodes, surrounding lights for sensing heart rate, blood oxygen saturation, even ECG in some markets. They're joined by multi-band GPS support for accurate location and route tracking, plus the usual motion sensors and a thermometer for measuring your skin temperature. Now, in everyday usage, we found it very good at tracking all of these. Even when attempting HIIT-type workouts, the responsiveness and consistency of the heart rate sensor meant not having to wait for it to catch up and losing good data for the first 10 minutes. Similarly, the GPS distance and route tracking data during runs was easily as reliable and consistent as anything we've seen from the likes of Garmin and Apple, even on the more expensive models from those two. What's more, it locks onto the GPS signal quickly at the beginning of the activity, so you're not left waiting around for ages before you can actually start your run. All this data is then compiled and sorted into easy-to-use graphics and metrics in the Huawei Health app. This breaks all the data down from your activities and makes them easy to read and understand, and particularly with running, it's accomplished and thorough in the types of data that you get. Like the GT Runner before it, the app also gives you a look at your overall running performance using the Running Ability Index metric, and the ability to start a training plan that adapts to your performance and ability. Still, it wouldn't be a new watch without some new tracking abilities, so Huawei added golf and free diving this time. But even for bog-standard daily activity tracking, the watch is a great companion. It'll track your steps and all-day heart rate, and is even good at sleep tracking. You don't have to manually enable a sleep mode. Plus, we found that the time that it detected us falling asleep and waking up was pretty accurate, and then it gives you lots of data once you wake up, telling you how light your sleep was and how good your breathing was, as well as some ideas on how to maybe improve that if you need to. As fitness and health tracking goes, it's one of the most thorough and useful services out there. It isn't all completely plain sailing though. For instance, there's no easy third-party sharing with popular apps like Strava or MyFitnessPal, so if you like that social element of the former, you'll likely miss that when using Huawei Health. Of course, the other issue with Huawei Health is that if you're an Android user, the most up-to-date version of the app with the best features isn't available in the Play Store. Instead, you need to download it direct from Huawei. And that means to get all the best and latest features, it's just an extra step for you to get those. In the end, like Huawei's watches that came before it, the Watch GT3 Pro is a very strong fitness and health tracking smartwatch. It may not have all the interactive smartwatchy elements of the Apple Watch or Wear OS watches, but it is a very good sports and fitness watch. The battery life sets it apart from other full-color watches, as does the luxury design and materials. And that's really what you're paying for and getting with the Pro model, because when you boil it down to features, it's not really any different to the Watch GT3 that came previously. I've been Cam. Let me know your thoughts on these watches in the comments down below. If you did like this video, please do leave a thumbs up and subscribe and tap the notification bell to make sure you don't miss any more of our uploads. And I'll see you again in the next one. Bye for now.